everybody, Seven Fox here, and welcome back to Cupid. I took a short break, and now I am ready to get back into the swing of things. Last time, last time we were here, we may have thrown up some needles, I believe. We met some new people, lost some of those new people, maybe. It was a very confusing time. But we learned that we were a witch. I think. We did some magic at least. Hence the throwing up of needles. Anyway, let's continue. Rosa entered the room with a tray of pastries and a pot of tea. Her duties were finished and she was allowed a bit of free time. She thought of accompanying Catherine for today's piano lesson. Kath, do you want some tea? We're calling her Kath. Aw, it's adorable. And look, we're not wearing rags. Such a lovely life we live. The girl didn't look her way. She continued to churn out the bitter, melancholic sound of her piano. Rosa sighed, her shoulders slumped in defeat. She placed the food on the table. She sat on the stool beside the piano, twiddling her thumbs while her friend continued to stew in her foul mood. Oh. Why is she upset? Is that a new composition? ... It sounds nice. ... Could you say something besides ... Nowadays, you make a new piece every day. It's a shame they're all so sad. Catherine didn't reply to that, but when she spoke again, her words were bitter. Oh jeez. I saw them again, those degenerate louts. Oh, well. At least she's speaking. And hey, look! She's grown up slightly. She looks nice. Angry, but nice. No shame at all. Kath. Alright. Consenting damn adults and all that. I think I read that right. At least have the decency to close the door. Who are we talking about? Sometimes I dare say that they want to get caught. Who are we talking about? When I walked in on them this morning, eating each other's faces, they had this look on them. Well, obviously we're talking about a certain couple. Like they were daring me to say something. Que? Que? Qui? I think it's qui. Do they want my applause? Very nice technique, sire. I very much like the way you swap your spit with my sister. Great tongue action. Oh God. So by judging all this, I believe that Guillemette and Emily was her name. Guillemette and Emily are having this sort of like a relationship going on. Bit of a high action relationship, if I dare say. Oh God. Tres Mervulex, I believe that is pronounced. ... And he even has the gall to speak to me? Be a dear and put them on the table, Catherine, he even said. Like I am a soft-headed chiggle mug of a maid. He wanted me to get annoyed, I just know it. Well, Farichier, I am. Catherine turned to the tea and pastries, stuffing the buttered bread into her mouth. Easy there. These damned things. These damned delicious things. Ah, yes, I know the feeling. You're so angry, but the food is so good. She said the last part angrily, as if she blamed her troubles on the food's relish. Relish? God. Okay. Relish, I'm gonna say. Rosa giggled in spite of herself. Catherine wiped her mouth in mock anger. What are you laughing at, wench? Hey! I thought we were having a good time. I thought we were having a fun time. I thought we were friends. It's almost comical to watch you eat when you're angry, Kath. You're like the giant monsters that attack defenseless towns in horror books. Oh, yes? Catherine made sad, tiny squeals and picked up another piece of bread. No, no, please spare us. She adjusted her voice and boomed out a roar. The Catherine monster of the deep doesn't show mercy to anyone. Hopefully that's what she sounded like. She dropped it in her mouth and chewed savagely. Yum, annihilation is delicious with tea. What a saying. The two girls giggled. Catherine's rare smile turned into a rueful laugh, and soon Rosa felt her mood turning somber again. What happened anyway? ... Don't go back to the ... Aren't you annoyed by it too? See, there we go. Sister has changed ever since she started helping in the chatier. Now it's all Guillemot this, Guillemot that. I apologize, I got the hiccups. Ooh. As if she wasn't already married. Ugh. Wait, is she married? Yeah, because she was getting wed into that one family, that's right. She doesn't even care that people are talking behind her back. They're calling her a two-timing slut now. Oh. The language in this. Such lovely language. I'm tired of running around picking fights with gossipers. ... Oh, well, at least she's trying to get them to stop the gossip. She hasn't even visited home for a long time. Father misses her a lot. Well, okay, there's no excuse to that. It depends on, like, how far away they live. From what I get, it can't be that far. You know, a simple carriage ride and boom, you're there. He always asks about her. Father had worked so hard all these years just to give us a comfortable life. Now he is sick, and all she cares about is that dastardly Marquise. Rosa shrugged. I am a little bit annoyed, but I guess I've gotten used to it. Their lives are their own, Kath. She didn't dare divulge more than to Catherine. Yeah. I'm reading it to make sure I got it right. But it was partially true. I like Guillemot. He's a nice friend. But I love my sister. If they want to stay together, then why not fix this and have at it? But what irritates me to my damn snatch is the way they are with each other. Catherine recently found the use of expletives endearing in her speech. Rosa hoped it was a phase. Oh. They're fucking miserable. Any halfwit can see that. The language has taken a jump here. Yes. I've told Emily time and time again to smarten up. She's hurting a lot of people, including herself. But as if she would listen to her 16-year-old brat of a sister, Even Guillemot is depressed, I can tell. Remember when he used to come and visit us here to have tea? Or when we used to have picnics in the afternoon? We used to run around chasing rodents in the garden. You ran around. We just watched you get dirty, actually. That is very true, you nitheads. Back then, it used to be fun visiting the château. Nowadays, we barely even see him. He just stays in this... Oh, he just stays in his... bureau. What was that? Bureau. Bureau. That's not bureau. But it looks like that, so I'm gonna say it. All day, brooding. Give me a second. Yes?
Yes, usually people get into the water when they go to the pool. Usually people who stalk people, they don't call them.
Oh.
They left.
Did they? Yeah, I saw
His
it.
hot water heater went at his house today, so he had to get back and call him out. Does he look older than me?
I guess.
Just.
I will try to be quiet.
Thank you. Alright. Where were we? Let us continue. Brooding. It is something adults subject themselves to, like a torture ritual. God, these walls. I really don't understand why two people who are clearly unhappy keep at it. Rosa did understand. At least some part of her did. She couldn't exactly explain how pain in love worked. All she knew was that it had something to do with an absurd, obsessive amount of hope. She felt Mother tugging at her mind. She loved Mother so much. Living with the Perides gave her ample comparison to her former life. She had finally accepted that Mother was cruel. Hey, I'm Mother. Those have been all the choices that I've made. Don't call me cruel. And yet, Mother still gave her love and kept her from wanting. Was she crazy? Perhaps it was the only love she needed. Perhaps it was what she deserved. Rosa shook the thoughts off her mind and just shrugged. I know you were just worrying about your sister, Kath. But they will figure it out. Humans learn. Look at you, all profound and shit. You read any good books lately? Are you being, like, sarcastic? Just the riveting amount of The Ugly Duckling and Baba Black Sheep. Ah, the classics. I don't know how you put up with it, though. I hate reading words. In order to write, I have to learn how to read first. I want to write. Hey, good aspiration, looking for something fun in the future. Writing, beautiful. Why would you want to do a dastardly thing like writing? Why would you want to hit some crazy strings until your fingers bleed? The two friends laughed again. I want to remember things. I want to write them down. But most of all, I want to feel the way you do when you play the piano, Kath. Oh? The way you look when you play. Your passion and bliss in musical form. It feels like love, like magic, but not like our magic, our special magic. You inspired me to do something fulfilling and grand. Well, I'm sure you will. Hey, why not write a play one day? Ooh, a play, a script write. Ooh, could be a wonderful, wonderful future we live. Oh, see? Oh. Let's do it. You write an amazing play, and I shall provide the music. We'll travel around the country and perform. We'll make lots and lots of money and gain lots of followers. We shall be known as the Parade Parade Caravan of Wonders. Parade Parade? Are you sure? Puns are the best. Trust me. That was a pun. That sounds darn batty, Kathy. Ugh. From this day forward, nobody is allowed to call me Kathy ever again. The sound of a knock interrupted their giggles. Alright. Cat. Catherine, it's me. Ooh, Emily. Haven't seen you in a while. Apologies about my pauses and, like, if there's any noise in the background. I don't know if it's, like, if you can hear it or not. I need to discuss something important with you. Frustrated, Catherine pouted at the sound of her sister's voice. She turned back to her piano and began to pound a sarcastically happy tune. Rosa stood up to open the door. Hello, Rosa. Madame? She had seen little of the old Paride sister recently, and it astounded her how old she had begun to look. Do we get to see her? Her once radiant face looked tired and harrowed, almost crone-like. Under her eyes hung huge bags. And yet she still looked quite dignified, full of pride and pomp. Pomp? What is pomp? What is that, like a figure or something? There was extra roge. What is that rouge on her skin? And her demeanor was elegant. It was as if pride was her only source of nourishment these days. Do you mind giving Catherine and me a moment of privacy? Rosa gave a small bow. Of course not, madame. Rosa gathered her nursery books and squeezed Catherine's shoulder before stepping out of the room. Oh hey, there's a library. Rosa entered the quiet room of the library. She was about to approach the table when she noticed Guilherme already occupying a seat. I remember now, Guilherme. 7 feet, please. He was writing something in a book, somewhat immersed in the activity. Rosa stopped dead in her tracks. Leave now while he is not looking, child. Just go in and ignore him, child. No, we leave now. I don't want to see him. It may not have happened yet, but I don't want to see him right now. What are you doing just standing there? He's going to see you. Leave now while you still have the chance. Alright, mother. Maybe you're right. Unfortunately, Guilherme lifted his head and saw her by the door. Darn. Oh, hello, Rosa. Rosa took a step back. Maybe it was best to walk away, as if this were a mistake. I almost called her a mistake. Oops. But wouldn't that be rude? He had already seen her after all. But she had never been alone with him. It was just too awkward. Oh god, she's doing that thing where it's like, I could go in, but then she turns around, or I really shouldn't disturb him, and then turns back in, but it could be fine. Well, see? Well, why not just go in? It was going to be fine. They had conversed normally before. Yet, whoop, there she goes again. Yet, that was because Catherine had been around to disperse her awkwardness. Now I look like an idiot. Guilherme watched her pace in front of the door. In amusement, don't you laugh at me? Don't you laugh at her? Rosa decided to go in. She had already embarrassed herself enough anyway. There was a little left to lose. Besides, there's nowhere else to go in this big house. She had already gotten lost in its hallways, much to the annoyance of the maîtresse. The library was her favorite place. You know what? Enjoying reading and looking for a profession in writing, I'm sure the library is your spot. If she stayed quietly in one corner, Rosa was sure they wouldn't bother each other. She took a seat at the furthest corner of the table and opened her book. ... Oh no. Oh no. He's actually standing up and walking over? No, no, you horrible man. Just sit over there while I sit over here. What happened to 7 feet, man? I said 7 feet. You back away. But Guilherme was already beside her. Am I not heard? Peeking at what she was reading. A cold sweat spread on her scalp. Rosa, that book. Rosa began to chatter nervously. I know it's a children's book, sire. I'm teaching myself to read. I know most commoners don't really bother, but I want to learn. So please don't laugh or mock me. Guilherme pointed at the book. It is upside down. Oh. Ooh, that's not a good look. Rosa stared at it. The ducks in the picture had their feet up in the air. Rosa squirmed, feeling the heat on her cheeks. She couldn't think of anything more embarrassing. I'm sorry. Guilherme's face lost its cheer. What do you need my forgiveness for? Rosa looked up at Guilherme. His eyes lacked the gentle glint they usually had. It was such a subtle change. Something felt rather than observed. God. She thought he would reprimand her further. His face certainly looked like it. Instead, he sat down beside Rosa, drumming his fingers on his cheek while he watched her wordlessly. ... Well? ... Question mark. Weren't you going to read? That was wrong of him. Oh, what was wrong with him today? He didn't seem like himself. Had he eaten something bad? The aura he exuded was not his usual friendly warmth. Yet it wasn't particularly wicked. The look on his face just read, slightly and eternally miffed. Miffed? What? Rosa turned the book upright, and read the words out loud. Once, that is the U with the short sound. It is pronounced like this. Glemon made the sound, his face still in his lazy stare. Rosa nodded and continued. That's what he's trying to say, right? Her nerves were frazzled, but she was actually at ease in his presence. She felt like a child being taught by their parent. The parent was strict but caring, and the child was jumpy but eager to learn and please. Most of all, he would not hurt her for her mistakes. Rosa was almost sure. Wait a minute, did our father do something? Did our papa do something? What? That. There. Lived. The past tense of live. ... Why do we change it? It is a rule of grammar that... Grammar? Glemon narrowed his eyes at her. Do you even know your alphabet? Rosa shook her head. Why are you trying to read if you don't know the alphabet? You gotta start with the baby steps. Start with your A. You should start there. C. I don't want him agreeing with me, but darn it. Glemon rose from his chair and disappeared among the shelves. He left behind an old, thick book covered in green felt. This was what he had been writing in earlier. It looked tattered and worn. The pages lay flat on its side so that the book didn't close properly. Rosa reached out to peek at the cover when... You are not to touch that. Oh, secrets. Now I just want to look at it. Rosa's whole body froze at the sound of Glemon's warning. Glemon's stare followed her even as she whispered numerous apologies under her breath. I'm sorry. Glemon just rolled his eyes. You are always seeking forgiveness for everything. Am I? I'm sorry. What was that? His hand struck the table in front of Rosa. In the quiet library, the sound rang uncomfortably in her ear. I'm sure it was that, but also, sir, 7 feet. Back away. Too close. Your pictures should not be overlapping. Back away. When she looked up, Glemon's face was looming severely above hers. He moved closer to her. What did I just say? His eyes fixed on her intensely. Rosa's mouth hung open. She struggled to say something, but her wits were like the burning ends of a matchstick. Before she could compose herself, she felt Glemon's hand lift her chin. That is not at all 7 feet away, sir. Rosa's heart thumped loudly inside her chest. Please don't. Not you, too. She felt his breath on her face, and her heart sank into despair. Mother's voice resounded in her head. In the end, they are all the same. He is like everyone else. She shut her eyes and prepared herself for the worst, like she always did when then, she felt her face being turned from side to side. She opened her eyes to see Glemon studying her face like a textbook. Oh, is she not pretty enough for you, sir? I am insulted as her mother. You should back away. Back away, sir. You are a fairly attractive girl. God, that is not, Thank you for the compliment. But again, 7 feet. I'm going to keep reiterating that. Why do you carry yourself as if it was a slight? He lifted the hair that hid her damaged eye. Ooh, no. Rosa clenched her teeth. Is it because you were hurt before? He said it so matter-of-factly, like he was stating that the sky was blue. Rosa recoiled from his touch. No, I did that to myself. I wasn't talking about your eye. He placed a... Wait, what? What do you mean we're talking about my eye? I'm slightly confused. He placed a book on the table. It was a thin pamphlet filled with letters. There were lines on the book that instructed the user to trace letters with their quill. Rosa wanted to focus on it, but she could feel the truth in Marquis' words stinging her. It was the very way you limp when I touched you. Oh. Or the very way you went limp when I touched you. Next time, I advise you to fight back. If you don't want to be touched, then you don't have to be. Do you understand this? But I am weak. Says who? Says her, and the mother, apparently. His eyes were humorless. The world cares not for people who think of themselves as victims, Rosa. If you need power, then be powerful. To hate it, to have it is necessary to crush things along the way. Rosa flinched under the weight of his stare. She realized that the polite and courteous Guilherme was but a facet. It was still him, but it was nothing but an oil portrait, an artwork of his devising. Synthetic, aloof, and irrelevant. It couldn't capture his essence in a few human strokes. Suddenly, Rosa realized he was powerful. Who are you? She caught herself before saying it aloud. You are not Guilherme. And yet, he spoke to her as if he knew what it was like to hurt and to fear. If you don't start acting like you own yourself, then people will not hesitate to take everything. He laid out the rest of the books he had brought out. One was an activity book for children. It had a picture of a child holding an apple with an arrow stuck in its head. Not in his head, stuck in the apple. Another was a book of limericks. Limericks? The other two were thicker books that intimidated her. She would come to know them as Hamlet and Paradise Lost. But the one that caught her eye was an ornately designed book. It had a beautiful red jacket with delicate gold trimmings lining the corners. The gods and goddesses of Roman mythology. This would be her favorite book, her treasure, and she knew it like love at first sight. These books are yours. Take them with you. Read the thin ones first, then gradually build your vocabulary with the thicker ones. Rosa ran her hands over the skin of the red book. She opened the cover gingerly, as if carefully unwrapping a present. Thank you. No thanks needed. I simply showed you some books from a portion of the library you were unaware of. ... You are still so generous, even if you are like this. Like what? Oh, that was Rosa. You are still so generous, even if you are like this. Like what? How to get that down. That. What? Somewhat irritable. Guilherme didn't reply, leaving an awkward silence lingering between them. Then he gave a giant laugh that made Rosa jump out of her skin. I do look damn irritable, don't I? Why? Is it because of Emily? Guilherme's eyes drifted away. Ooh, hitting a note, I see. Or a chord. No. I've always been. You just pointed it out. But you are not usually like this. Especially with Catherine and the townspeople. I find it easy to adapt to people, especially to ones I like. Guilherme looked at Rosa as if he had just become aware of her presence. It makes me wonder why I am so stern with you. I'm sorry. Rosa shook her head. I somehow prefer this side of you. Guilherme cocked his head to the side. He brought out the green book that Rosa noticed earlier. This is called a journal. Ooh, he's got himself a diary. When you learn to write, start one. What is it? Something you can use to remember yourself, remember yourself when you've forgotten. Does it work? It used to. Nowadays, not anymore. Why is that, Guilherme? Oh. The act itself is the only thing I remember. Now, let's start with your vowels. A scream pierced the halls of the château. It was Catherine. happened? What's going on? Glemma sprinted to the door with Rosa not far behind. That was a... Ooh, that didn't sound good. Back in the piano room, Catherine took a shaky step towards her sister. She wasn't moving at all. Wait, what happened? We were gone for like 7 minutes. Blood dotted the ivory keys. Oh, no. Don't tell me. I didn't. It was an accident. She did. She got upset with her. She got mad at her. She pushed her. She fell down. Her head hit the piano. Is Emily dead? Emily? She was overcome with the urge to approach her sister and shake her awake. Make sure she was okay, but it was a nasty fall. She's not okay. Emily? Catherine saw the way her sister's head snapped back as if it collided with the sharp Okay, let's try this again. Catherine saw the way her sister's head snapped back as it collided with the sharp corner of the piano. She watched it like a series of photographs in her head. She had to check on her, but her feet refused to move. Instead, she began to retreat into the corner. She didn't even notice her legs when her moving. Oh, what did I just say? She didn't even notice her legs were moving until her forehead touched the wall. She didn't want to turn around. Oh, God. Her sister was on the floor. Her eyes were still open, unblinking. Ooh, oh, God, that is not a good thing. It was an accident. It was nothing but an accident. Was it? I'm sorry, what? She pushed first. She got really scary. She strangled me. What? Emily. What? That's absurd. Are you sure? Would she do that? I don't know. Wait, who is talking right now? Mother? No, Mother's only in my head. Who's in your head, Catherine? I think she did. Catherine touched her throat. It felt fine. That Parried girl, Emily, is it? She really believes just because the Marquise took her in that he's interested in her? Well, she's obsessed with the master. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. What? Wasn't her mother a bit, you know, not right in the head? Oh, what? God. It probably runs in the family. Let's say it doesn't. Emily had looked mad. Her eyes had burned with malice for her, and she had closed her fingers around Catherine's neck. But she couldn't remember if that had actually really happened. Sister was always kind to her. She would never, ever hurt her, even when they got into fights. Sister loved her. I find it nice, or kind of cute. Bringing this up a little too late. She doesn't refer to her sister as Emily. She just refers to her as sister. I find that a little cute. But with this face, no, that is a face of pure terror and regret. ... Am I turning mad? I have the blood of a mad woman. Am I going to end up like her? I only told her the truth. Glemma doesn't care for her. Oh no. Some things are better left unsaid. And she doesn't even care for him that much, not either. It was all just chaff, the relationship. Ooh. No sense trying to make everyone else miserable too. Oh. Catherine, no. But she called me jealous and a cunt. Oh. She had never called me a cunt. She said they have decided to send me away. What? My lessons sent home. The piano replaced. It was for my own good, she said. I didn't have to travel here all the time. I can concentrate on my other endeavors. I can make new friends. But I know she just doesn't want me near the Chatier or Glemma. She hates it when I catch her with him. Perhaps this morning was the last straw. Oh. Okay, Okay, I'm realizing things now. Who's in the bad then? Is it Emily? Catherine? She hates it, but she also smirks at me when I see them. What? Like she basks in it. Dot dot dot. I think I might hate her. What? Catherine's thoughts ran through her head like a storm. They poured out of her aimlessly. I wonder if the piano is broken. Am I going to pay for it? What will become of us without sister's wages? What of father's medicine? What of my dreams? Sister can't be dead. Sister can't be dead. Catherine brought her finger to her lips, or fingers to her lips, and nibbled on her thumb. She didn't notice this. Her mind was preoccupied. She was in the corner of the room, biting her fingers. It was a tiny comfort in a rapidly collapsing world. Guillemette opened the door very loudly and found Emily lying on the floor. An ugly gash broke the skin of her forehead. Facing the wall was Catherine, shivering like a leaf and viciously devouring one of her fingernails. Ugh. He approached her cautiously. Catherine? Rosa was out of breath, but was still able to let out a gasp at the scene. I had to do the gasp. Emily's lifeless eyes stared up at nothing while Catherine pressed herself into a corner. What had happened after she had left? It was like 7 minutes. Rosa, will you call for help, please? See that someone checks on Emily. Rosa did as she was told, but what? Oh my god. But what she really wanted to do was hug Catherine herself. Guillemette took a small step towards her. He called out her name slowly, coaxingly. Catherine turned her head, her thumb still on her lower lip. The flesh was torn and a smudge of scarlet painted her teeth. Oh. Ugh. I mean, I'm a nail biter, but just biting the flesh? Yeah. It was an accident. I swear. Of course it was, Catherine. Of course it was. She pushed first. She wanted me sent away. She wanted me gone. You can tell me about it later. Sorry, had a yawn. Let me take you away from this room. What have I done? Catherine fell to her knees and wept. Large sobs sucked the air out of her. She felt like drowning, trying to keep herself afloat in between sobs. Every exhale was a squeezing pain in her lungs. She felt Guillemmet's arms wrap around her. What have I done? What have I done? You didn't do anything, ma chérie. This is not your fault. There was a bitter bulge building up in her throat, and she felt that no amount of crying could push it back down. Ugh, what am I going to do? Father is. Sister. I'm so scared. Guillemmet's arms wound tighter around her, and she clutched onto his warmth in this vast sea of fear. You don't have to be. I will always be by your side. What? Catherine? I will take care of you and your father, alright? It's very silent. At least like a little music, a little noise would have been nice. It's very awkward in the silence. You don't have to worry about your future. Her tears soaked his shirt through, but the squeezing in her chest felt less painful. Why? Why do you do this? Why do you care so much for me? Guillemmet's brows furrowed, as if confused. Oh my god. Ugh. Got my yawns. Ugh. Guillemmet's brows furrowed, as if confused that she even asked. I just do. It was a boldly stated fact, as if painfully obvious, as if Catherine was a fool for not knowing it. It made Catherine's heart expand in her ribs. When she looked back, she would recall this as the moment she fell in love with him. What? Wait, what? What? We shouldn't be having this kind of moment, okay? Somebody is dead. Your sister is dead. You killed her. I am so lost. The look in his eyes was reassuring and strong. She wasn't alone. She was going to be all right. Let's get you away from here. He supported her arms and stood her up, careful to block the view of her sister from his eyes. I had a few problems and that sentence started slowing down. He led her to the door. Catherine hated how fast her relief came. She was still drenched in sorrow at her sister's death. Her father would not take well to the news, especially in his health. But she was all right, and she hated it. Rosa was with her. She didn't have to leave her piano, her dreams, him. Nothing had to change. And most importantly, she hated the voice that came whispering in her head over and over again. Thank goodness she's dead. Thank goodness. What? We shouldn't be having those kind of voices. Those are bad voices. Ooh. The first candle is lit. This candle is storage. Storage? The love for familiars. The cleanest love. Rosa stared at the blue candle glowing in her hand as she chanted her spell. Ooh, we're back in the present and we're back to our spellcraft. Trust is the vial that conceals and deceives. Trick his eyes and his heart with the warmth from this candle's flame. A bond of blood like kin will be forged. Weave this trust so his tongue will yield to what is sought. Oh. Rosa stood at Catherine's tomb, nursing memories of her. Aww. She's still dead, I forgot. Oh no. Oh god, she's still dead. Oh. I'm not happy about this. The soft wind lightly blew her hair. It reminded her of Catherine and her playful ways. Tears sprouted from her eye. Even the wind. Console her, scold her. I'm going to console her, 'cause that's what a mother does. I will be the most fantastic mother. I am always here, my love. Loss will always hurt. But you love Mother the best, don't you? Yes, Mother. Then you are going to be fine. I will never leave you like Catherine did. Rosa. No, it's you, Golema. I know what you did. You back away. Golema's soft voice came from behind Rosa. No, came from behind. Period. Rosa glanced at him in acknowledgement. ... He stood quietly beside her for a few moments, but ventured to speak. Have you thought about my offer? My house is always open to you. Remember that. I'm sorry. What is this? What offer? Staying here? Was that the offer? Oh, I can't remember. Did you even offer me anything? ... I'm sorry for my outburst back then. I think we're talking about that night. It's nothing. The night we puked needles. Yes. The wind played around their feet, and Rosa pictured Catherine as part of the breeze, playful and free. She was free from the pain and confusion that had plagued her in her last days. Ooh, God. They stood beside each other in solemn reverence. Finally, Rosa broke the silence. She was my family. I was in pain before she came along. I didn't know any better. She gave me hope. She was bright, like a flame. When I close my eyes, I can still see the imprint of her light in the darkness. I can feel her warmth. A star. They didn't speak again for a short time, for some time. Glimmet cleared his throat. I was an orphan too, much like you. Oh, don't you go like making connections like, oh, I know how you felt. I was an orphan. I am now rich. Aha. I know what it feels like to lose too much. I wondered for a long time before I found anything to live for. Were you alone? Sometimes. Always. Wait, what? Rosa nodded. Did you have family? Glimmet shifted uncomfortably. Ew. Okay. Glimmet shifted uncomfortably. Oh my god. Let's just move on. No. They, left me behind. I never knew them. Much of my memory of it is a blur. I was taken in by kind people once before, but... Glimmet sighed, and Rosa observed a certain disquiet in him. I didn't belong. ... But you have no difficulty mingling with people. ... I think of that as a necessity rather than a preference. But either way, it can be quite tiresome after a while. Things don't last. Ooh. ... I don't know why I'm telling you this. Because of our magic. I mean, our what? I am making the mood worse. I'm sorry. I don't mind. Glimmet had never opened up to her about his past before, and it worried Rosa how little she actually knew him. Anyway, would you like to go around town? Oh, you're asking me on a date in front of Catherine's grave? Is that how it is? No, thank you. I'd very much like to take you someplace more cheery. How about our favorite spot? We have a favorite spot? Glimmet smiled with understanding. The pair traveled up a hill, and I guess we're just going there, up a hill at the edge of town. There the view overlooked the quaint village. That is a small village, looking at it now. The sunset painted everything in the pink glow of dusk of endings. Wait, what? Let's try that again. The sunset painted everything in the pink glow of dusk of endings. It is always so beautiful here. I guess I read that right. They used to spend time in this grassy knoll, the three of them. It was their own little hideaway. Memories of the past crept up. Oh my god, I don't know. I apologize. I don't know why I'm so yawny right now. Let's try this again. Memories of the past crept up on every corner. The ghost of laughter echoed in the wind. Rosa touched the trunk of the small tree they had carved their names on. So many fond memories. Rosa, I want you to have this. Glimmet took Rosa's hand and placed an item in her palm. It was a simple silver locket. She looked up at him questioningly. I have had that for as long as I can remember. One of my remembrances of the past. I can't take this. You must. You need it more than I do. But it's old, and the locket doesn't even open anymore. I don't know why I've held on to it for so long. I can't even remember how I came to have it, but it comforts me. Maybe it will have the same effect for you. ... This is your treasure, Glimmet. It feels wrong to take it. On the contrary, I believe you must have it. Call it a hunch or a feeling, an urge on my part. I am not good with expressing sorrow or even giving comfort. But I want to do something at least. For you. He closed his hand over hers, affirming the gift. It's yours. Please take it. You are wrong. You are wrong if you think I am letting you stay in the castle simply for Catherine's sake. I do it for my own accord. Let me do this for you, Rosa. We have been friends for quite a while. If you need to leave, at least stay until you feel ready to go. Dot dot dot. What the heck is happening? What's going on? Alright, but I will continue working in your household for my lodging. You don't have to do that. I can raise your status to a lady. You can read and write now, and very well. I'm sure you will be more comfortable in a higher position. I have no need for a higher position. Just free access to your library. You have come a long way from the shy girl back then, Rosa. Watching you grow has been a pleasure. Yes, the library is yours. They were quiet for a while, only conversing through looks, smiles, and tiny sighs. Rosa realized that she had been holding on to Glimmer's hand all the time. Oh, whoa, whoa, what is this? Separate the hands and step back. She broke off from his hold, rather embarrassed. We should head back. You're right, it's getting quite late. Glimmer walked over to the carriage to get it ready. Excellent, child. Being a maid in his household will give you free access to the rooms. He trusts you completely. Yes, we have gained his trust, and now we will steal the gold. I mean, avenge our friend who he killed. It seems that the candle worked. Oh, that was the candle? Oh, that's right. I guess so. Rosa looked at the silver necklace in her hand. She fiddled with it, trying to open the lock. We're gonna open that lock. Oh, I'm curious. Dot dot dot. Open that locket. I'd like to see what is inside. An object that he owns will make any enchantment more powerful. Rosa fussed with the pendant for a while, but like Glemmis said, it was stuck. I'll try again later, Mother. I'm rather curious about it myself. The spell will start its effect in stages, gradually uncovering his true face. Fondness first, then trust. Familiarity. Rosa sighed. But was the spell necessary at all? Didn't she already have that with Galeme? Rosa bit her lip, remembering the warmth of his hand. They had known each other for a long time. It was rather comforting to have someone to mourn with. However, Rosa did find it strange that Galeme rarely even mentioned Catherine anymore. It was as if he was shedding her off like a skin. Again, the taste of blood in her throat resurfaced. The memory of the needles made her stomach lurch. Since her friend had died, the Marquis had begun spending all his hours locked in his office. He barely showed himself socially, rarely even attended meals. But they were casting a powerful spell, something that might harm Galeme. What if he was, after all, innocent? Then we were, I don't know how this magic works. She had years of good memories with him. What was she even expecting to find out? Exactly how could she live with the guilt of two dead friends? Rosa sighed. She cared for him. Despite all the suspicions, she knew that much. But Mother was adamant. 3 candles for 3 lovers. For three loves. A fitting curse for a man who frolics in love's domain. Storage, the love for familiars. Phila, the love for friends. And Eros, the love for lust. Open his heart with storage. I keep saying storage, but it might just be storage. Unmask him with Phila. Strike him down with Eros. Yet Rosa kept a 4th candle. One she had named Agape. Unconditional love. She didn't know whether she would ever use it. Mother, of course, would object. But just in case Eros successfully struck Glemme, she wished to like Agape. At least give him peace before. Rosa walked towards Glemme, a pang of anxiousness biting her lip. Rise, my daughter. The work lays ahead. To bring him down, we must find his weakness. Then we attack. His due punishment will be swift, my dear daughter. Do it for Mother. Chapter 4, Metamorphosis. Alright, we lit a candle. The second candle is lit. I think I'm going to stop it here. Things are getting interesting. We learned that Catherine has accidentally killed her sister. Catherine has fallen in love with Guilherme. They may have had a thing going on. So many questions. Anyway, if you liked the video, please leave a like, leave a comment. If you liked it that much, please subscribe. And until next time, 7 Fox, signing off.